Hi, I'm Fast, and I've been asked multiple times when I've been streaming how you do breed in PokeMMO. And because I've been asked so many times, I also suggested I make a video about it, and everyone seemed on board on that, so we will try to cover absolutely everything of breeding in PokeMMO in this video as short as possible, because I don't like long videos, and you most likely don't either. So we're gonna dive right into it. The first basic is the normal that you sacrifice 2 Pokemon to make 1 child, meaning you won't ever get those Pokemon back, but you will get the child that you chose the specifics for in return. And on top of that, it's always the female species you choose who will be choosing what species the child will be. So you can use there's the same egg group, but different species to make 1 child, as long as the female is the one you want it to become. When showing that, we can go here to the breeder man, and he will, this long dialogue, ask me that I'm certain that I want to do this. Let's say I go in on the search and I do egg group and let's say monster. Then it tells me what I have that is monster. If I choose this Garbite that is a female, I can choose this male Marowak, and you will see that it will become a Gibble because the female is a Garbite. If I change out the female to any other female in the same egg group, it will automatically become that female as the child. But whatever you change of the male counterpart, it will still be whatever the female is. The way you can go around from this is that if you use a Ditto, then it will be the male who drags down whatever species it is, because Dittos cannot breed with each other. Making it very simple to show here, it stands very clearly, these 2 Pokemon cannot breed together, because you cannot breed a Ditto. There are multiple unbreedable Pokemon. This includes Ditto itself, as you see here. It also includes a few other Pokemon, like legendaries, or all legendaries are non-breedable. You can see this by, for example, going into the summary, and you go on the Pokédex, and it will always stand egg group cannot breed if they cannot breed. This will also stand on baby Pokemon, so those you would have to evolve into their next state to be able to breed them again. Then there is some Pokemon that are genderless, meaning that you will only be able to breed them with each other or a Ditto. So let's say I want to breed this Porygon, I will have to use either a Ditto or another Porygon. If I, for example, take this Rotom and try to breed it, it will tell me no, because it is 2 different genderless Pokemon. It has to be the same species to breed together, or you have to use a Ditto. Sometimes you will encounter female-only species. There is a few of those in different egg groups. I would say one of the most known one is Kangaskhan, and if you are not looking at getting a Kangaskhan as the final end result, you will have to keep that out of your breed. If you use multiple breeds to get the Pokemon to be exactly how you want it, those Pokemon will ruin the whole breed by not being able to become something else, because it's always gonna be a female. If you are looking at the GTL or looking through your boxes and you want to avoid these female onlys, there is a simple button down here that is saying hide female only species. If you press that button and then you tab in whatever stats you need on your Pokemon, you press search, it will show you whatever else you can use that is not female only. If I go back and press off the female only species, it will also show me, for example, this Blissey, who we know is a female only. And then we have a little bit more on the egg groups, because even though one Pokemon might be 1 egg group, it might have 2. A good example of a Pokemon that has 2 egg groups is Cressola. If you go to the Pokédex and you check Cursola, you will see it has both Water A and Water C, making it a good middle point if you want to breed the stats from a Water A Pokemon into a Pokemon with Water C. This also really helps for egg moves, but we're going to get a little bit more into that later. So, to summarize the basics, you sacrifice the 2 parent Pokemons, you have to have the same egg group on them or use a Ditto. It will always be the female who determines the species of the child, and some Pokemon cannot breed, and that is, for example, Ditto with itself, or baby Pokemon and legendaries, and Unknown Shedinja can also not breed. And then you have the genderless Pokemon. The genderless Pokemon can only breed with each other or with a Ditto. On top of all this, what I didn't mention earlier is that every egg takes about 6 minutes to hatch, and you can minus 1 minute if you have a Pokemon with Flame Body that you put in your incubator. You can see here I have my Volcarona, which has Flame Body. This makes the eggs hatch a little quicker, and the egg system do work on ticks, so to be more precise, it might be 5 minutes and 20 seconds, depending on when you put them into the incubator. But it is easier to calculate with a 6 minute down to 5 minutes, down to 4 minutes if you also have donator status. Donator status is not required, but if you are doing a lot of eggs within a week, you might consider looking into it. It also has multiple other benefits, but that doesn't matter really with the breeding here. It's only the reduced time that we like from that hair. We're gonna get a little bit more advanced, so we're gonna talk a little bit more about the nature and the IVs of the Pokemon. You can see this Typhlotion right here. It is a 31-31, so it's 2x31, which we usually call it. It has speed and special attack. This specific Typhlotion is made for a Jimmy Run team, so it needs only 2x31, and it needs a special attack plus nature. Every nature has its specific stats. Some of them are neutral, while others give plus 10% in one stat and minus 10% in another. And Modest do be one of the more popular ones together with Adamant, since it is adding one of the attack stats and minusing the other attack stat. And usually a Pokemon only usually use one of the stats. With this Typhlotion, for example, it usually only uses special attack. You can see on the stats that it's special attack, this one is fully EV trained and IV is max and all of this, but even without that, the special attack would still be quite a lot higher than the actual normal attack, physical attack stat. You can also go into Pokédex and check on the base stats to see how much the base stat is difference. Here you see that a Typhlosion's attack stat is 84 in a base stat, and the special attack is 109. That's a significant difference. So if you're gonna build a Typhlosion for any reason, you might consider looking into the special attack route and not attack. It also sometimes depends on what moves they learn, that the move itself is either physical or special. You see Ember that Typhlosion can learn at level 10, or most likely this is the pre-evolution who learns this, because Typhlosion does not evolve that early. You see that is a special attack, and then you go to quick attack, that is a physical attack. That is what the special or physical attack matters. So that is something to look into as well if you go into even more specific breeds. But right now we're just considering ourselves with if we want special attack or normal attack on this specific one. The nature and the IVs can be brought down to the child by using specific items. We use Everstones, which is farmable in some locations for the natures. It's the only way to guarantee nature. Personally, I only use Everstones at the last part of the breed, because all the way until then you can let the randomly roll, and sometimes you get really lucky and get exactly what you want, other times you just don't get it. It is multiple times where I have done a breed, I have planned it out, I have gotten every single part of what I'm supposed to breed into my little calculator in my head, into my box, sorted it out, started breeding, then I rolled the nature I needed, and suddenly there was 3 Pokemon I didn't need in that breed, and I either can A, sell them, or B, use them for another breed. Basically saving me money. And then you have the power items for the IVs. With the nature getting only passed down specifically with using an Everstone, you use the power items for the IVs. The power items is easily accessible inside any daycare. There will always be one NPC in here that will sell them, and they will sell the power items for each different IV. They will also sell an ability pill, which is to change the ability of a Pokemon, because sometimes you breed and you get a breed that an ability you didn't really want, because the Pokemon you breed has 2 different ones. That is also a rule, so then you just use an ability pill to get the one you wanted. But that is nothing to worry about while breeding, that is more for after you have bred. There's also a little note here to see that the Incenses here is also possible to use if you want specific baby Pokemon. Some of the specific baby Pokemon you can see, for example, appearances. If held by a Chimecho, while breeding it may help them produce a Chingling egg. So if you have a Chimecho hold this item while breeding, you will get a Chingling. That is the way to get the baby Pokemon of some specific of them. Some Pokemon get automatically bred down to a baby Pokemon, while others need these items, and it can be very useful to finish decks. When you are breeding more than just 2 specifics onto a Pokemon, let's say that you want, as I showed the Typhlotion earlier, it has both the nature we want and it has the special attack and the speed we want. We need to look into the fact that the Pokemon we use for the breed has any overlapping stat. I will show you an example, but I will take that a little bit later in the video. This is first all the theory, and then I'm going to show you with examples afterwards. So I hope that is okay and that you will keep with me until that. On top of that, we also have egg moves, totem moves, and TM moves. These gets those can be gotten to the baby Pokemon or the Pokemon, egg Pokemon that you have. For example, if we look at this Blastoise here, it has the egg move Water Spout. To check if a move is egg move and how you get it, you kind of have to go to the Pokédex and you go on the moves, and if it stands egg move, you will have to get it from another species onto that Pokemon. This Blastoise is also made for a gym run where you really need the Water Spout. So if I scroll here and I find Water Spout, see, oh shit, that is an egg move, I really need to get that on this Pokemon because it's needed for the strategy I use. Then I will have to look at the egg group, see, oh, it's monster and it's water A. What Pokemon is it that is water A or monster that has the move Water Spout? And then I have to look into how I can breed that move into my Pokemon. In Blastoise's specific situation, you have to go from a Wailmer that knows Water Spout into a Remoraid and then into the Squirtle. You can, in some cases, keep the 131 IVs and so on these as well, but in theory you only need to move the egg move, the Water Spout, from the Wailmer who learns it naturally, onto the Remoraid, where there is also an egg move, and into the Squirtle. This is because there is no other, if not, or very few, if not no other ways to get the specific moves onto my Squirtle or Blastoise, since I have evolved it and trained it. To get these egg moves, or do some research and see which egg moves you need on a Pokemon, because it's a lot of work to have to go back and find the egg move and get it onto the Pokemon that you are making if you've already finished your breed and you see, oh, Pock, you needed that move, So try to make sure that if you need an egg move on a Pokemon, you look into that before starting the breed. If you have a Pokemon that has been taught a tutor move or a TM and you breed it down, those moves will act similarly to egg moves. We're gonna get into a little bit more of the niche stuff as well before I show the examples of the different things. Niche stuff I will go through now is the OT. If you have not finished decks, that is important. If you have finished decks, it is only important on specific things. How you breed the shinies and how the shiny OT reacts, because that's a little different. And alpha and hidden ability and particles. So OT on a species, if you have OT, you will always see on the bottom here that it stands my OT here. If you have OT on the species that determines the species of the child, which is either A, female, or B, a male, but you use a ditto to breed with it, then your child, your egg, will turn out to be your OT. If you have finished decks, this is usually nothing you have to think about, since you've already discovered the Pokemon, you already owned the Pokemon as your own OT. And when I say finished the decks, I do mean caught OT, not just owned. Because if you just owned it, it will still count, it will still not give you the OT unless your specific species that brings the species to the child is your OT. It's a little bit complicated, but it's still quite simple. To me, I picked up on it quite easily. Some people struggle a lot with understanding it. It's a little hard for me to explain when I felt it worked so naturally. When I've tried to explain to others who have just sat there like a question mark, it might just be me being terrible at explaining. But in short, the species that determines the child has to be your OT to make the child your OT. So, if I were to use the male instead, it has to be with the ditto, and the male has to be my OT. I hope that do make sense. It's as simple as I managed to explain it. When it comes to shiny breeds, it's a little different. I don't have that many shinies, but I do have a few. When it comes to shiny breeding, you would want to breed two shinies together to make sure that the child becomes shiny. There is no benefit of breeding a shiny with a non-shiny at all. You will lose out on everything. In theory, I thought it was impossible to breed a non-shiny with a shiny, but I just got proven wrong. Because when I put a non-shiny in the other breeding slot with a shiny, it shows it's possible, but it's losing its shiny. So I have been taught wrong in that regard myself, and just discovered that right now while making this video. But, on the other hand, if you do want to breed two shinies together, let's say I want the attack and the speed IVs on this Trubbish, I would have to put the speed power item on the Trubbish and put the attack power item on the Graveler. This is both my OTs, meaning that it will be my OT when it comes out as a child. I will not breed these because I do not get rid of my own OTs. On the other hand, if I am to breed this Bibarel with this Raticate, it will become an unknown OT because it is not my OT on the female, the one that brings down the species of the Pokemon. But if I then again go in and I put anything else in, then it should be my OT. Now we've gone through the shinies and how the OT get passed down to the child, we can go over to the alphas. Alphas is a condition the Pokemon has that is doing nothing else than making the Pokemon bigger in the overworld sprite, and it has a red line around it that indicates that it is an alpha. Alpha spawns are randomly once within a 6-hour real life window, which is a full day cycle, day-night cycle in PokeMMO. These always get caught with a minimum of 2x31 IVs, which makes them wonderful to breed with. But what we want to look at now, I'm just gonna choose an egg group monster, for example. I do not have that many monsters. Let me go and check field instead. I should have way more of those. Okay. If I want to breed a alpha down to still be an alpha, I would have to breed 2 alphas together. You will still see that it has the red line around it as with the child, and it comes out as an alpha egg. If I am to, for example, take this one as the other breeder instead, it will not have the red line around it, and also when you press breed, you will get this big pop-up that says Meowth will not inherit some of the rare attributes of its parents. It will not become alpha Pokemon because one of the parents is not an alpha Pokemon. Do you want to continue? Absolutely, I do not want to continue. There is no benefit of having it an alpha other than that it's a flex. Sometimes it's fun to breed a alpha Pokemon and make an alpha 5x or 2x or whatever you want it to be, you need it to be. I have multiple times myself bred alphas just for the sake of making it an alpha. These Pelipper, for example, is an alpha just because I want it to be an alpha. And you have some other Pokemon that I've also bred that I just wanted to keep an alpha. And there was no other reason for that other than that I could. This specific one here, for example, being quite expensive making an alpha since it's a genderless Pokemon, meaning I could only use Dittos or other Magnemite, Magmazones, other part of the evolution line to breed it, and it has Modest and the 5x 31s. Quite expensive, even more expensive because it chose to make it alpha. If I had at any point used a non-alpha in this breed, it will have turned out as a non-alpha. Then there is the hidden ability. Any alpha Pokemon will always come with the hidden ability or the possibility of having hidden ability. Other ways to get hidden ability on Pokemon is either catching the swarm around the alpha when the alpha spawns. It has the chance of having hidden ability, but it's not guaranteed. Either all of them can have or none of them can have. Or one can have, two can have. It is all random. On top of that, if you open mystery balls, which is an item that is getting given out, or you can acquire them in different events, like this mystery ball. This specifically is from 2024, it's marked because of the year. If you open those, the Pokemon inside can often have hidden ability as well. When it comes to breeding down hidden ability on another Pokemon, let's say I have a Primeape here that does not have hidden ability and it's the female, but then I want to use this crocodile as the one to breed it with, which has the hidden ability. Then you will see that the Mankey will not get hidden ability because the hidden ability belongs to the crocodile, which does not be do not be the species that we're getting. If you want the species, the child, to have a hidden ability, you will have to have hidden ability on the parent that brings down the species. That will mean the female, let's say this Lucario for example, then you will see that the Riolu gets the hidden ability. And that doesn't matter if I use a male without a hidden ability, let's say this Rhyperior for example, the Riolu still gets the hidden ability because it gets it from the parent. When it comes to all of this being done, there is the thing about particles. There is very many particles in the game, and not all of them is obtainable anymore. So some of them you can only get by breeding the other Pokemon into the Pokemon you want them on. An example here, you look at this Charizard who has 6 different particles. If I press on a specific one of these instead, it will usually show that it has particles. I don't know why it doesn't do it now, but I like to keep it randomized because it's fun to see what pops up. To get particles on Pokemon, you can either buy them, some get sold on the GTL, or you have to breed them down. Let's say this Lotus Field particle effect, which was from Halloween 2025, it has to either be given in that event or be bred into the Pokemon. And how you breed it into the Pokemon is that you take a Pokemon with the particle effect. Let's say I have the Charizard here, it's just a female, you know. You will see this little particle on the Charmander egg that shows that it will have particles. If I then go and I find another Pokemon that also have particles, you will still just see that it is particle here. But if you check both Pokemon, both parent Pokemon, and you see that they have different particles, you will be guaranteed that the child will get all of the particles, not just some of them. So all particles do get inherited down to the egg Pokemon. Now to the examples. I do have a lot of different examples I could show. I will show a quick breed on the Typhlotion. In general, I usually always start my breeds by talking to the man, and the old man do function mostly as a PC, meaning that if you have things in your mail or you're buying things from the GTL, you can get it to your PC and use it straight from the old man instead of having to run back into the Poke Center to deal with things. I wanted to make a Typhlotion. I do know that I've caught some Typhlotions and Cyndaquils over here, but none of them seem to have the stats I want. If I want to search in the Pokemon I have, I know that I want speed and special attack on it. It's really all I care for right now, because I know that I can find the Modest or any other plus special attack nature a little bit later on, or possibly roll it. I also do put minimum required IV matches as 1, and then I press search. Since I see that none of the ones I have of the species I want has this specific thing, I will go and I will start looking at the trade market, and I will look for... I will do the same search here. I will do minimum special attack, minimum speed, I will press 1, and I don't really care about the gender, because I can always use a Ditto as well. Sometimes it's cheaper for you to use a Ditto, sometimes it's cheaper for you to use a breeder Pokemon of a different species, or same species depending on what's the cheapest. So I'm not thinking too much about that right now. I press search, I press sort by price, because that is how you get the cheapest one. If I go with Cyndaquil, which is, you know, the first evolution, I see one for 17,000. If I then go for Typhlotion, oh, that was even more expensive. And since I never remember the name of the middle one, which is Q-Lava, there we go. That is 18,200. So for me right now, I go for the Cyndaquil, because that was the cheapest one. I will buy that one. It is a male. I don't really care about that. I can claim it to the PC from the mail, meaning that it is here. I pressed it in breed slot 1 and I see that has the special attack. What I now need is that I need either something in the same egg group, which I can see here. It doesn't matter which of the species I have open, which of the evolution, as long as it is the species. It is in the field egg group. If I had a female, I would have looked more into that, but since I do have a male, I do not really care, and the first thing I do is that I write Ditto in the searching field, because I knew I'm gonna need a Ditto with 31 speed. Here again, I do not really care what nature is on the Ditto I'm buying, even though this one is exactly what I need for later. I am gonna buy one of them. Actually, I'm gonna buy both of them, because I might... No, wait, no. I am not gonna buy both of them, because I just realized it has minus speed. We do not want minus speed, because what we want on this Pokemon is plus special attack and neutral speed on the nature. So we're starting with this, we claim this for Ditto to the PC, we get to the PC, we see, oh, there's the Ditto, and that means we put it right into here, and we give the speed one, the speed power item, which is the power anklet, to the Ditto, and we give the special attack, the power item, the power lens, to the Cyndaquil. This will give us a Cyndaquil as a child, and we can look here and we can see there is a gender choice. If we make it a female, this being a male-heavy species, there is way more males, or has a higher chance of being a male than a female. It will cost us way more to force it to be a female. But if we choose male, it will still cost us something, but it will cost us way less. The base price on choosing gender is 5k, and if both is 5k, it doesn't really matter which one you choose. It only matters for what you're gonna do further. We know we're gonna have one more breed on this Cyndaquil, so we know we're not gonna choose to make it male. That would be a negative for us if it rolls down there. Most likely we're gonna have one more breed, unless it randomly rolls the nature we want. You see that it's standing as a question mark, meaning it can roll that randomly. What I do like to do though is that I go in on the egg rip, or on the GTL, I do check the egg rip, I say field, and I say again, either special attack or speed, and I have to make it male. And then I go in here, I do have strings on, so I do see the plus minus what the nature gives on my strings. If you do not have strings, you can always hover over the natures and it will show you what it is. I also have played for a little bit, so some of these natures I know by heart. If I check modest, it's the most popular one of the ones. I sort by price again. I have male, I have field. A modest field Pokemon with either one of those stats, male, is gonna cost me 25,000. If I change this to a Ditto by searching for Ditto, it is costing me 40,000. So then I need to check for myself, is it more expensive for me to buy something for 40,000, or is it more expensive for me to buy something for 25,000? And choose the gender. What I can also do is that check other natures. We, for example, have mild or rash, which is both plus special attack, but not minus any speed. These are usually cheaper because they are less sought after. This one, for example, all the way down to 3,000. And if I go on Rush, all the way down to 2,500. With this Pokemon and what I'm going to use it for, it does not need anything more. This is perfect. And I know I can get this nature cheaply, so I am just... I do check the Ditto as well. Oh, 6,000, 7,000... It is not the worst price for this Ditto, with the natures I want. It is still way less expensive than the 21,000 to force it to become a female. I will hit the breed button, I get there, you won't get these Pokemon back, are you sure? And I hit yes, because I am pretty sure. Now it is the waiting game, and I can close all of these tabs. He's gonna tell me a lot of things, it's gonna be put in my incubator. I can either hold this incubator open and wait for it to hatch and do nothing, or I can go and do whatever else I want. Previously, the ticks for hatching a Pokemon did not go off if you, for example, were in a battle or in a conversation. Now there's been an update, meaning that they will still hatch. But what I will also show you in the meantime while waiting for this egg to hatch, as in your settings, there is a little check somewhere. I just have to find it myself because I have just turned it off. Oh, here it is. Hatching animation. I have set that to only shinies. I can have it totally enabled to have all the eggs when hatched be showing me the animation. It will take a lot of time, and if you're doing a typical egg hunt where you just breed a lot of the same Pokemon hoping to get a shiny because that is cheaper or less time consuming than going out hunting for it specifically, it's gonna take a long time just with watching the animations, but if you have only shiny on, you will see if they are shiny. If you have it totally disabled, it will not show you the hatching animation whatsoever. I do myself prefer only shiny because I sometimes do those egg hunts looking for shiny Pokemon of specific species. So now we wait, and I will come back when it's done. Now that our Cyndaquil has hatched, the only way for us to get it out of the incubator is going to be either pressing on it and press send to PC, or if you have multiple eggs that have hatched, I would usually like to press remove all. It automatically puts everything that was in your incubators into your PC. You can do that from anywhere, so it makes also easier to put eggs back in by pressing fill all. This you can do anywhere as long as you're not in a battle or in a conversation that locks those kind of actions out. So then we go back into the PC and we go and we find our Cyndaquil. That was not it. There it is. It turned out to be a male, which is kind of what I expected with it being a male-heavy species. It also rolled modest, which is not the best for me trying to show you how to do the natures. But modest is the nature we really want on this one. You can also see the nature in here by pressing the Pokemon. I did not think that far, but my example one rolled modest, so this one is good to just be EV trained and leveled. But we can do a example breed on a alpha Pokemon instead. Because most likely I'm not gonna have two that gets automatically rolled into what we want. So when it comes to alpha Pokemon, if you want to keep it an alpha, you have to remember that you have to keep every breeder in the breed an alpha. I do have a 3x alpha here, no 2x alpha here that I'm going to turn into a 3x. So I go in and I search and I have this melodic that is a female, so we want a male. It has special attack and defense, so we do really want one that has 2 of these, making the minimum requirement IV matches again very important. We also have to choose egg group. By looking at the Pokédex, you can see that the egg group of Melodic is 2 different things. It's both Water A and Dragon. So we will choose Water A first and make sure that we say yes to it being an alpha. Then I see that I have nothing that matches that at all in my box. If I then go to Dragon, let's see that I have to scroll a little bit, there we go with Dragon. I press search and I have nothing that matches that either, other than my Dittos. I can then go to the GTL and I will do the exact same search. I will go for a male because I need a male. I will do defense, special attack and speed. Choose it has to have 1 of them or 2 of them because we're going to make this a 3x. I'm going to choose water group A. We are not going to do anything shiny. We need alpha, yes. And then we're going to sort by price. The cheapest one we have here is a defense one that is quirky. So we're just going to do that one. When we do this breed here, this one got automatically put into... Did I buy it? It seems like it was not found. So I guess I will have to get this one instead. There we go. Sometimes when you buy stuff, if it's not recently updated, the thing you're trying to buy might have already been bought by someone else since you last updated the page. That's what happened now, but we are just taking this Psyduck instead. This Psyduck got automatically thrown into this box here. And putting that into the breeding slot with the Melodic, it turns out to be a Phoebus because that is the first evolution of the Melodic. And here you see that the defense on both of them is 31, making the Phoebus automatically get 31 on defense. What we do then is that we pop in the power lens for the special attack to be kept to the child, and we pop in the power anklet for the speed to be kept to the child. Randomly enough, we see that special defense on both parents here are 18, meaning that the special defense will automatically become 18 on the child as well. The other 2 will roll, together with the nature that will also roll. Again, we don't really... If we didn't really care about the gender here or what we're gonna use. Alpha dittos are really hard to come by and therefore are also very expensive. If I go and all I do is mark alpha ditto, you will see the cheapest one is already 62,000 or almost 63,000, which is way more than we paid for the male. Meaning we're gonna make this Phoebus a female so that we know that we will be able to breed a melodic, because melodic is what we really want here. Then we just press the breed button, we get a 3 eggs, and then again we will have to wait around till this one hatches. What we want on this one afterwards is again a special attack plus speed neutral nature, so either we can start looking into that already, looking at what natures we would like, we can hope it rolls as the Cyndaquil did, or we can make the nature go down to the next child again with using an Everstone. Now that the last Pokemon has been bred, and this is how it looks again. It has my OT, it is Modest, which is the nature we wanted on it, and it has the IVs we wanted on it as well. I'm gonna say thank you all for watching. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out either on my live stream or my Discord or in the comments, which I probably will check every now and then. If anyone has any comments about anything that is misinformation, please leave it down in the comments so that I can either correct it for a later video or get educated myself. I am not professional with the breeding, I only do it because I find it interesting, and the reason for this video is basically just because you guys asked me to do it. I do not know how many times I've gotten questions about breeding, and you all seem to have understood it when I've explained. It's easier for me to explain to a live audience than to explain to a wall or to my camera, so please, if there is any more questions, feel free to reach out either in the Discord or on my streams. Thank you all, please like the video and enjoy your day, at least like it if it was helpful. If it was not, leave me alone. I try my best, okay? Now that bye! Hope to see you again soon.